बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम आमीन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन. In this lecture I will discuss the solutions of Mechanics 9709 component 42 of March 2020. Well, all instructions are very important, especially these last two. Give non-exact numerical answers correct to three significant figures or one decimal place for angles in degrees, unless a different level of accuracy is specified in the question. Where a numerical value for the acceleration due to gravity is needed, use 10 meter per second square. Always go through the instructions before starting the paper and must follow these instructions. An important tip, always read the questions carefully so that you can extract the informations properly. Question number 1. A lorry of mass 16,000 kg is traveling along a straight horizontal road. The engine of the lorry is working at constant power. The work done by the driving force in 10 seconds is this, 750,000. Find the power. The formula of power is work done upon time. We have work done, we have time, we can easily get power. 75,000 watts or 75 kW. Part B. There is a constant resistance force acting on the lorry of magnitude 2400. This is the resistance force, frictional force. Find the acceleration of the lorry at an instant when its speed is 25 meter per second. The speed is 25. So, according to Newton's second law, driving force greater than friction since lorry is moving. So, when you will bring this friction on left hand side, you'll get F minus friction is equal to ma. This is the Newton's second law. The resultant force is equal to ma, product of mass and acceleration. Well, we need acceleration, we have power, we have velocity, we have friction, we have the mass of the lorry, so we can easily get A. Must give your answer up to three significant figures. Question number 2. A particle P of mass 0.4 kg is on a rough horizontal floor. This is the particle and this is the floor. The coefficient of friction between P and the floor is mu. A force of magnitude 3 Newton is applied to P upwards at an angle alpha above the horizontal. This is the force in upward direction making an angle alpha from the horizontal. So this force has two components, 3 sine alpha and 3 cos alpha. This is the weight of the particle, frictional force, normal reaction, where tan alpha is 3 upon 4. So with the help of this tan alpha 3 upon 4, we can get the values of sine alpha and cos alpha. According to Pythagoras theorem, this is 3 upon 5 and this is 4 upon 5. The particle is initially at rest. That means the initial velocity, that is u, is 0 and accelerates at 2 meter per second square. So part A, find the time it takes for P to travel a distance of this from its starting point. That means u is 0 and t is also 0. So by using this equation of motion, s is equal to ut plus half at square, we can easily get the time. S is 1.44, u is 0, copy half, a is 2 and we are working for t. So t is 1.2 seconds. I'm sorry. Now for mu we have to find friction and normal reaction, and for that we need to resolve forces horizontally and vertically at this particle P. So the formula of friction is mu r. So when you will resolve forces horizontally, you'll get this thing, 3 cos alpha greater than friction. So you have to bring friction on left hand side. This is Newton's second law. We have mass, we have acceleration, we can easily get friction. This is the friction, 1.6 newtons. Now resolve forces vertically. So r plus 3 sine alpha is equal to 4. because there is no motion of this particle perpendicular to floor. So vertical forces are balanced. So we have sine alpha, we can easily get r. We have friction, we have r, we can easily get mu by substituting these two into this formula. Give your answer up to three significant figures. Number 3. The diagram shows the vertical cross section of a surface A, B and C are 3 points on the cross section A, B and C. The level of B is h meter above the level of A. The level of C is 0.5 meter below the level of A. A particle of mass 0.2 kg. A particle of mass 0.2 kg is projected up the slope from A. With initial speed 5 meter per second. The particle remains in contact with the surface as it travels from A to C. Given that the particle reaches B with a speed of 3 meter per second and there is no resistance force, find H. So EI is equal to EF. According to law of conservation of energy, sum of initial energies is equal to sum of final energies. So initial energy means loss in kinetic and final means gain in potential, and work done against frictional force or resistance force. Since there is no resistance, so this component must be 0. Loss in kinetic means half mu square minus v square. Make sure whenever you write loss, you should write u square and then v square. This means loss in kinetic. Gain in potential is mgh. You can cancel these two m's. We have u square, we are working for h. We have v square, this is u and this is v. So we can easily get the value of h, and g is 10. Part B. It is given in state that there is a resistance force and that the particle does 3.1 joule of work done against the resistance force as it travels from A to C. So the resistance force from A to C is 3.1 joules. Now again we have to use law of conservation of energy. So according to law of conservation of energy, kinetic energy at A, this means sum of initial energies, and potential energy at A. At this point we have two energies. This particle has two energies, kinetic and potential. The height of A from C is 0.5. So potential energy and kinetic energy, these are two initial energies. So sum of these two initial energies will be distributed into these two energies. Work done against friction and kinetic at C. Kinetic at this point. So we have kinetic at A half m v square, that is the velocity at A. Potential m g h, this is the height of A from C. Work done against friction is given 3.1, and we are working for the velocity of particle at C, so half m v square. Therefore that's the final answer. Question number 4. A cyclist travels along a straight road with constant acceleration. So we can use equations of motion. Constant acceleration means we can use equations of motion. He passes through points A, B and C. A, B and C. The cyclist takes 2 seconds to travel along each of the sections AB and BC. So this duration is 2 seconds, A to B, and this is also 2 seconds. with the speed 4.5 at B, and the speed of the particle at B is 4.5. The distance AB is 4 upon 5 of the distance BC. So if the distance BC is S, then distance AB must be 4 upon 5 times S. 4 upon 5 means 0.8. So if this distance is S, then this distance must be 0.8 S. Find the acceleration of the cyclist. Well, for acceleration of the cyclist, we have to consider motion from A to B first, and then A to C. From A to B, and then from A to C. From A to B, we are using this equation, ut plus half at square. So this distance is 0.8 s, and ut, that means 2u, half a t square, and the duration from A to B is 2 seconds. So this is the equation number 1. Now consider motion from A to C. Don't consider motion from B to C. Consider the motion from A to C. So 1.8 s, this total distance is 1.8 s, and the total time is 4, half a 4 square. This is the equation number 2. Now form the third equation, because we have 3 unknowns. The third equation should be formed from A to B, and with the help of this equation, V is equal to u plus at. So V is this, u is 0, sorry, we have to work for u, and 2a. So by solving these 3 equations, we can easily get the value of a, and s and u as well. So the value of a is 0.5 and the value of s is 10. We would need this value of s in the later part. Now find the distance AC. Distance AC is 1.8 s. So by substituting this 10 over here, we can get the distance AC. Question number 5. Coplanar forces of magnitudes F, 3, 6 and 4. This is F, this is 3, 4 and 6. Act at a point P as shown in the diagram. Given that alpha is 60, what if we don't have alpha? So we can resolve forces in this way. This F has 2 components, F sine alpha, F cos alpha. This 4 has 2 components, 4 sine 30, 4 cos 30. Now for part A, we have alpha. So this will become F sine 60, and this will become F cos 60. And that the resultant of the 4 forces is in the direction of 3 newtons. This means resultant is acting horizontally. So when any force acts horizontally, then its vertical component must be 0. Therefore, sigma y is 0. So when we will equate vertical components, then we can easily get the value of f. So f sine alpha, which is f sine 60 in fact. So f sine 60 plus 4 sine 30 must be 6 Newton. Meaning upward components are equal to downward components. This means sigma y is 0. So with the help of this equation, we can easily get f. F is 4.26. Given and state that the 4 forces are in equilibrium, find the values of F and alpha. Now we have to resolve forces horizontally and vertically. So F cos alpha is equal to, F cos alpha plus 3 is equal to 4 cos 30, meaning right component is equal to left components. So these two will be 4 cos 30. And vertical component, we have 2 vertical components. This plus this must be 6 newtons. Now we have 2 equations. So by dividing this equation with this, we can get the value of tan alpha. I mean, these two f will be cancelled, and this will become tan alpha. And find alpha up to 1 decimal place. So by substituting alpha either into this equation or into this equation, we can get the value of f. This equation is simple. You can substitute this here. Substitute alpha here and get the value of f. And f is 4.03 Newton. This is up to 3 significant figures. Question number 6. I'm sorry. On a straight horizontal test track, driverless vehicles, that is, with no passengers, are being tested. A car of mass 1600 kg is towing a trailer of mass 700 kg. This is the car and this is the trailer along the track. The brakes are applied, resulting in a deceleration of 12 meter per second square. So the deceleration is 12 meter per second square. So acceleration is minus 12. The braking force acts on the car only. This is very important. Here is the braking force. In addition to the braking force, there are constant resistance forces of 600 newtons on the car and 200 newton on the trailer. So frictional force on the trailer is 200 and on the car is 600. Find the magnitude of the force in the tow bar. We need this value, tension. When we resolve forces at T, then tension would act away from T. This is the property of tension. Tension always act away from the point of resolving. So I'm resolving forces at trailer. So T would act in this direction. Therefore, T must be greater than 200. When you will bring this on left side, this will become resultant force, and according to Newton's second law, resultant force is equal to MA. This is the value of tension, 80 to 100 newtons. Next, find the braking force. Now you have to consider car and trailer as a system. So you have to resolve forces at this system. So driving force on car must be greater than braking force, frictional force, this frictional force, and this frictional force. So this force must be greater than sum of these three. We are considering car and trailer as a system. This is just one system. So driving force must be greater than braking force and frictional force. These two frictional forces. And driving force is 0 because car is decelerating. So 0, frictional force on car is 600, on trailer is 200, because this is the system and this is the braking force. And since we are considering these two as a system, so we have to take the total mass, 2300. Now this is the driving force, braking force. Next part. At the instant when the brakes are applied, the car has speed 22 meter per second. So here the speed of car is 22. At this instant, the car is 17.5 meters away from a stationary van. This is the van. Stationary means 0, which is directly in front of the car. Show that the car hits the van at a speed of 8 meter per second. So for that we have to use this equation, 2a as v square minus u square. We have to prove v. So we have a minus 12, we have the distance, we have u square, 22 square, so we have shown v is 8. After the collision, the van starts to move with speed 5 meter per second. And the car and trailer continue moving in the same direction with speed 2 meter per second. So again we have to consider these two as a system, car and trailer. Find the mass of the van. For that we have to use law of conservation of momentum. Sum of initial momentum is equal to sum of final momentum. So system means 2300 mass. So mass of system times velocity. The formula of momentum is mv. So 2300 upon 8. This is the initial and this is the final momentum situation. For initial, use this 2300 into 8. When car hits the van, the velocity of car is 8. And the velocity of van is 0, so m times 0. Now consider this after the collision. This is before the collision and this is after the collision. Now the mass of system is 2300 and the velocity is 2 meter per second. And mass of the van is m and the velocity of van is 5. So with the help of this equation we can easily get m. Question number 7. A particle moves in a straight line through the point O. The displacement of the particle from O at time t second is s. We have two equations. The first equation is from 0 to 6 and the second equation is valid for t greater equal to 6. Find the value of t when the particle is instantaneously at rest during the first 6 seconds of its motion. So we have to consider this equation. Instantaneously rest means v0. So we have to differentiate s to get v first, and then we have to equate v to 0 to get t. So the answer of t is 1.5 seconds. You all know when we differentiate displacement, we get velocity. Second part, at t6, the particle hits a barrier at a point P and rebounds. This is the barrier. At t6, particle hits the barrier. So find the velocity with which the particle arrives at P, meaning hits the P barrier, hits the barrier, and also the velocity with which the particle leaves P. So we need the striking velocity and return velocity. For striking velocity, we have to use this equation. And for return velocity, we have to use this equation because particle hits the barrier at t6. So we have the velocity equation. So by substituting t6 here, we can get the striking velocity. This is the striking velocity. When particle rebounds, for that we will use this equation. So by differentiating this equation, we can get velocity. This is the velocity, and we have to put t6 into this equation. This is the return velocity or rebound. You can write both the answers, minus 11 upon 3 or 3.67 negative. Find the total distance by the particle in the first 10 seconds of its motion. This is so simple. Make a box for that. So you have to consider the time at which particle was instantaneously at rest. Always take the time at which particle is instantaneously at rest. So this is the time 1.5. So must consider that time in the box as well. So 0, 1.5, 6 and 10. Now for 0 to 6, use this equation. This equation, and for greater than 6, use this equation. So when you will put 0 into first equation, you'll get 2. When you put 1.5, you'll get this thing. When you will put 6 in the first equation, you'll get 20. And when you will put 10 into second equation of S, you will get this thing. Now take the differences of these values of S. So 2, difference means larger minus smaller. So 2 minus this thing. 2 minus this thing. Larger minus smaller. Now 20 minus this and 20 minus this. So when you will solve this, you will get 40.1 meters. That's the final answer, the total distance traveled by the particle in 10 seconds. I hope this lecture will help you to understand how to solve the questions of mechanics. An important advice for me and for everyone, always dress properly. We should always dress properly according to Islamic rules, being a Muslim. Good luck and Allah Hafiz.